He didn't slam you, he didn't bump you, he didn't nudge you, he rubbed you. And rubbing's son is racing.
And welcome everybody to Locked On iRacing. We are up to episode number 2021, season 2, week 13. That is it, people. We're in the final week of season 2. Technically, we've recorded this and we've actually started season 3 this morning. We've got a little bit to talk about that today. But welcome to week 13. Braden, Martin, how you going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just finally feeling like I'm almost completely recovered over this little cold and stuff, so it's nice to be able to breathe somewhat normally and have a relatively normal voice. Well, as normal as it can be.
Yeah, we had the neighbour's kid over today and he was coughing and spluttering everywhere. I kicked him out of the house very quick, smart, and then sprayed the house at Glen 20. I'm not getting that stuff. But I am Peter Wilkinson, and this is, like I said, Locked On iRacing Podcast, the news and results episode. If you haven't checked it out, we got Reese Gardner last week with in the interview episode, went up on Saturday. Go check that out. It's a really good episode, really good stuff on there to listen to. We've also got the Locked On Lads Man Cave podcast if you want to go check that out for all your other general gaming, meat, and all the other things that we talk about on there. I don't even know what we talk about most of the time. And don't forget to subscribe and review the podcast if you can. Jump into our Discord, lockedonlads.com/Discord, or it's in the show notes. Go click on that little link and go straight into our Discord and join in the fun that is happening over there. And don't forget, we support Ultimate Dirt TV and also now Ozicar Formula Vees. We are sponsoring both of these things, so go check them both out because they are both really, really cool things. But enough of that. Oh, no, one more thing. Locked On Lads on Facebook. Go check it out. It's definitely like and follow that. That is really good stuff over there. But let's get into what we've been racing/watching, which is basically just racing at the moment. Braden, mate, what have you been up to for the last week since I talked to you last?
Yeah, obviously no Ozicar last week, so didn't have a race to participate in. But that didn't mean that I couldn't jump in and do some racing over the last week, which was nice. Obviously, the long weekend helped out, and work started to die down a little bit. So I did a whole heap of V's races basically over the weekend. So some at Lime Rock.
Talking the Battle of the Little Wings. Is that what you did?
No, the shiny new one. So just the V's, V's only.
Oh.
So yeah, not the Little Wings battle with the multi-class. I went to go jump in one in a Skippy. But there was like 6 cars registered. And I was like, okay, well, this is pointless. So, yeah. So I think that I did some at Lime Rock. I did some at Charlotte Roval. I also did a little bit of secret testing for some people in some V races, which was really fun. And I actually streamed a whole heap of them. So, yeah, some of them went really, really well. The first race in a V I jumped into actually... came third, and it was a 3-way finish for third, fourth, and fifth. We were covered by about, it was less than a tenth of a second between the 3 of us, which was really cool. But then definitely had some absolute shockers. If you go back and watch any of my streams from the last couple of streams, you see what I mean. Yeah, I was second place in one of them, and I don't know what this guy was doing. He was driving down that little short chute on Charlotte before you take the right-hander on that weird Roval track, and he was just off in the grass in the left-hand side. Then all of a sudden just decided to drive back onto the middle of the track like his car was completely damaged. He said he had no steering. I'm like, well, why are you driving? And exactly. Yeah, I was having a really good battle with Russ Marsh, former Ozicar driver, for second place, and Cameron Dance was in that one I think he was first, but I think he might have had a crash. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, we're having a really good battle there, which was really awesome. And then apart from that, I've been trying to get my head around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for Ozicar this week, as that's where we're heading. So I've put in a fair few laps there. Not to much avail, to be honest. It's been shout out to Nathan Verney, who'll remember this moment. If you remember my mental breakdown trying to learn the Nürburgring, where I was just about ready to throw the whole sim outside and let it rust outside. I was getting pretty close to that point, not able to break into the 154s. In fact, I did a 155 flat, as in actually flat, like 0, 0, 0. Just to rub it in. And then I finally got all the corners together. I was about 4.5 tenths up on that lap. And I ran out of fuel coming through the final chicane and just coughed my way over the line and didn't make it. So it was very frustrating. But did a few good laps tonight. So hopefully we can keep that going for the race. How about you? What have you been doing? You jumped into anything new?
I went away to Gold Coast on the weekend, so
That's right.
and made it a super long weekend, so I didn't get to do a lot of racing. Now I had a couple of things lined up. Actually, while I was on the Gold Coast, I did a full lap around Gold Coast street circuit just to get a feel of it again and show the boy, and he was all absolutely excited. I'm like, here's the start road grid, there's the pits, there's the start finish line. Here's where McLaughlin put it on his side, and here's all the way around. So he absolutely loved that. But yeah, in the sim, I only had one more MPR to get to have a crack at my A license for ovals. So I went to do one of them. I sat down, I saw the battle for the little wings, and I'm like, I'll just have a quick go. I'll just have a little go of these V's, see what they're like for content for the podcast, and qualified 6th or something or other. Had a few laps, was battling my way through the field, actually doing really well, getting up towards the podium end, and 3 or 4 laps in, a guy decides he's already a lap down. I'm 3 wide coming down the straight. This is Lime Rock with the first chicane in, and I'm 3 wide. I've got the massive draft down the straight. I'm going to go deep under brakes and get up basically from 5th into 3rd, and a dude pulls out of the pit lane, and I've got nowhere to go, so I've got to then slam on the brakes, let him go in. We do a lap, he's in amongst us. I've done 2 laps with him in amongst us, and then he just loses it in turn 1 and takes out like 3 of us in this massive battle for the podium. Had to tow, which was like a minute 15 or 17 or something or other from the first turn, which really hurt. Fast repair, so that was okay, and then battled my way back with everyone crashing out to 7th, I think it was, out of a field of 24 in the mixed class, but it wasn't mixed class, it was every single one was a V because we're so far down the splits, but set the 2nd fastest lap of the race, which was pretty good, and that was my first time in the Vs, and even in qualifying, I didn't really have the understanding of the car just yet, so it was good to get to that point in the race, and so then went, I've got the bug for this, I'll jump in again, we won't worry about my MPR, I'll just get my A next season. And
how are you finding the Vs? Do you like them?
I really like them. So compared to the Skippy, I can gun it off the start in a V. I am like significant, like Skippy. Okay, cool. You hold down second clutch, foot to the floor, lift second clutch, and you all go off at the same pace. You can't do that in the V.
Or reaction time.
Yeah, you got to manage throttle. You've got to all this kind of stuff, and you've got to really play with the grip. And I was 6th in a race today, and by the first corner I was 3rd.
Yeah.
And gapping the people behind me. It was just a really good feeling to get these things off the line.
Far
more than a Skippy.
One of the races I did at Charlotte, I qualified pole, and I qualified a second faster than second. So I was like, brilliant. I'm actually going to get off the start, be able to get in, run my own race. I'm clearly faster than everyone in the race at the moment, so I might actually pull off a win. Bogged down off the start, ended up 6th, ended up about 5th or 6th, got crashed into in turn 2. So
yeah, look, and
I was like,
it's so much. It's and that's what I like. The start actually means something. It's just another aspect of the race that the V's bring into it. I'm a lot better under colds because they're just not as skatey on colds. They are skatey, but they're nowhere near like the Skippy. So obviously everything I've learnt in the Skippy, I'm enjoying bringing back to the V's, and it's making things a lot easier in the V's. What's that?
Oh, I don't mind them. I just find them a little, I don't know, like a bit bland. I don't know. They're just a bit nothing for me. And I don't know if it's the lightness of the steering or the fact that you basically use 2 gears the whole track. And yeah, I don't know. I see the appeal. One thing I think they're going to be amazing for rookie class drivers to learn racecraft in early. Like you can't really bang doors like you can in an MX-5 and be the lucky one that gets away with no damage, and it's going to teach a lot of good racecraft. But yeah, I don't know. I can't see myself committing to a season of them. I didn't enjoy them that much. But I guess each to their own. Maybe I'm just bitten by the Skippy cult and I can't leave.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the draft in these things too. Like, that's the other big part, is you can get a draft for about 2 seconds out, which is really good. So you can be a second off the pace and still keep up with the person in front as long as you don't make mistakes. And it's just, for me, running lines, as you said, it's only 2 years. It's 3 and 4. I can get out of... I'm hitting the rev limiter in second gear coming out of the pits at Lime Rock at 56 k's an hour, because you just can't stay in first very long. And you can't even stay in second very long. And especially if you're downshifting, don't go to second at all unless you're going almost snail pace. Otherwise you lock her up and spin around. But I'm enjoying the simpler parts of it and a little bit more nuanced stuff with, like I said, the throttle management, and especially around Laguna Seca, which I'll talk about in a sec. I'm not using the brake anywhere near as much as what I thought I would be. You can definitely take the foot off the accelerator and turn the steering wheel pretty hard, and it grips, and that's all you really need to do. It's just a matter of lifting a certain amount or the right amount and turning it at the right time. And I'm enjoying that part of it, which I hopefully will take to the Skippy, and I'll actually be a better Skippy driver, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think at this stage I'm going to commit to the season. I've already done one race for the week one. Not a great result, but it definitely showed promise. But we'll get back to the Battle of the Little Wings. I went back in for race 2 straight away instead of going after my A license, and qualified first with about half a second on the rest of the V's, and I'm like, here we go. Get it off the line. I've got 3 Skippies in front of me, and I get off the line. I'm up next to the third place Skippy by the first turn at Lime Rock, and then I'm like, okay, I'll let him pass. I won't battle for him. I've got a gap on the guys behind me. It's okay. And then they're skating around everywhere, and I'm dodging and weaving. I'm right next to the first place Skippy. I'd overtaken the other 2 Skippies, and then all of a sudden, Formula Renault 2.0 has just gone straight over the top of me. Absolutely ramped me and sent me off into the wall before the chicane on the first lap. Just audible. I had to actually say, really? Over the microphone. I'm just like, well, okay, whatever. Tow back, do it. I come back out, race, and I made a couple mistakes, silly mistakes, because I was frustrated and I still got like 8th or 9th or something or other. Yeah. It was good because in the Battle for the Little V's, you had to do a fuel stop in there as well. But because I crashed so early, I was fuel saving the rest of the lap, because I chucked in 1 litre. That's all I could chuck in for that first lap.
Yeah.
And I tried to fuel save, but I couldn't quite. I had to pit on the last lap just to top her up to get around. And it was good fun. It was chaos though, obviously, with the faster cars going through, and that's what ruined me. But definitely got the bite from that, and wanted to do more. Went away for holidays, and got back today. Did some stuff with Ira. If you go check out a YouTube channel, we've got a driver's school video up, so go check out Locked On Lads YT on YouTube, and you can see the first episode of that, which is pretty cool. 20-minute video about bits and pieces. But then straight after that, I jumped into Laguna Seca instead of going and practicing my skippies. Did Laguna Seca and qualified 6th and 6th or 7th. Like I said, got the 3rd by the first corner and was battling well in 3rd, and then lost a little bit of speed because someone kept on trying to shut the nose down on like turn 4-5, and then got to the kink going up the hill, and this guy's got his nose on my inside and he wouldn't give it up. Like, oh, here we go. So I had to go wide on that, lost speed, lost momentum. He lost momentum. We've been overtaken by 3 cars going up to the top of the hill. And then there's 3, we're almost 3 wide going down the corkscrew, and this is A, nuts, and B, it's slowing us down so much. And let them go a little bit, battled away, just sat that 1.5 seconds back, which was towing me along perfectly fine. They got to about 2.5 seconds, but then they started battling again, which then meant I got back onto the tow again at 2 seconds, and then on the last corner, 2 of them, the guy who was putting his nose down at the kink, he spun and took the guy out with him, so I got past them, sat in 4th, going around really well, 3 seconds ahead to second and third, battling as well. So I'm catching like a tenth every now and then on them, and then just got to the kink and just turned in a little too hard, a little too early, and just lost it a little bit and spun it around. No damage, just lost 4 places back to 8th, and then had a really good battle with the guy in front of me. I had more speed than him, especially in 3 of the corners, but I couldn't quite get the run, and we came to the last lap, and I checked myself up trying to get past him at one stage, and that was the end of it. So we were like half a second apart, if that.
I did have to laugh how you lose speed going up the hill at Laguna Seca in the V. I did a little session with Leon, a little race that he put up, and it was just it was funny, literally like watching my speed go slightly down. It basically holds or loses a couple of kilometers, but it was just funny.
Yeah, it sits around that 131, 130k an hour, and then sort of just hovers around that mark. And if you come in too fast, it goes back to that. So if you come in too slow, it actually goes up to about 131 is what it seems to like going up the hill at. But even the corkscrew going down through that in third feels weird. The final corner you do in third, it's a strange little car to drive. But I enjoyed the 7 laps I did around Laguna Seca, and as you know, Laguna Seca is not a very good spot for me, and I got 4x on it. One was loss of control with the kink, and the other ones were just 2 slide off tracks trying to get past this guy, and lost iRating, lost safety rating, but not too substantial. But yeah, little 12-lap races just felt too short in the officials, but that's what it's about. There was no chance of coming back. I like the 25-minute races we're doing.
Yeah, so I did some
week 13.
In that testing I did with Trax. We did 15-minute races, and they felt too long in the V.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, to me it felt too long, especially if you weren't battling with anyone, because the car, like I said, was a bit bland. 15 minutes felt too long. I actually enjoyed the 12 minutes. That felt about right for me for that car.
Okay, yeah, because it was 12 cars. That was the problem. I think if it had been 15-minute races and 24 car fields, it would have been better. Or a shorter track would have been the other thing as well. But yeah, I enjoyed my Vs, and I've got to now pull myself away from it and learn skippies for 48 hours time for when we debut season 8, and
one other thing,
still seeing what I can do tomorrow night. But
one other thing happened. I don't know if you watched any of Indy being away. I tried to watch some IndyCar.
They went to Belle Isle.
They did go to Belle Isle. Did you see? I forget his name, and I really should have had a bit more preparation and knowing what I was talking about.
Car caught on fire.
No, not Roman Grosjean. That was pretty well, not funny, but interesting to see as well. But did you see the guy who, coming onto the right hander that sends you onto that back straight, his throttle got pinned and just sent him straight into the wall, and he hit it so hard he pushed the concrete barrier over.
Wow.
And it was weird as well because he downshifted. It seemed like the car was going to slow. Normally, it would automatically happen as soon as you go to slow, the throttle would pin. Throttle got caught. It just went straight on and just sent him straight into the wall. It was pretty scary stuff. But obviously, Scotty Mac didn't have a good weekend. And to be honest, I found the racing quite boring around there, disappointingly.
Yeah. It's one of those tracks, like it's not like it's a street track for starters, and it's like that Monaco where it's not really wide enough for an IndyCar to be doing too much overtaking in, and safely anyway. So should we get into some results? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? This week's results are brought to you by Locked On Lads Discord. Check it out. LockedOnLads.com/Discord gets you in there. All kinds of cool stuff in there at the moment. I think every channel's just about going crazy at the moment. A lot of E3 chalk in there as well with the New Horizon getting announced. A whole heap of memes, memesies, whatever you want to call them. And there's some little secret channels that for our Locked On Racing that is going a little bit crazy at the moment as well. But yeah, check that out. Let's get into the news part of the podcast.
Oh, yes. Sorry, skipped the gun there, didn't I?
I know. I just oh, pardon me. I need that cough button. I need to be able to get rid of that. Sorry. So week 13. what was your highlights? Did you pick out anything that you wanted to test in particular besides the Vs? I know we just spent a whole bit of time talking about Vs. Anything else from the week 13 that you had a crack at?
I really only tested the Vs, basically. I wanted to jump on. I bought Red Bull Ring, but never ended up jumping into it to do a race. I watched a few races from some streamers racing and things like that. And man, that looks like a real fun track to drive.
Yep.
And the short layout that was run, I think I was watching Mitch McLeod do a GT3 race around there, I reckon, on the short track, and it looks really, really great. So I'm looking forward to jumping out and having a go at that. I did download Chicago Street Circuit because that was where the Skippy was for that day that I wanted to do the Battle of the Little Wings before I realized there was like 4 people registered and jumped out. Track was interesting. It was tricky. It was just very street circuity. Wasn't too exciting. Wasn't too thrilled with that. But I'm sure it'll come up with some decent racing once you actually get there, and rather than just turning laps around there. Any other highlights? Not really. Probably.
Did you do any mud skipping?
Oh, I did. Only a real short amount in a practice session. And I think I was alright at it. I was actually surprised. It's weird. It tries to turn you, like as you're putting your foot down. It tries to basically steer you right, and then all of a sudden it tries to steer you left. But it was actually pretty fun to drive. Like, I think it would be hard.
Yeah, see.
I think it would be hard to race, especially in a big field. But in terms of just turning laps, it was actually pretty fun. I think I did the session that was at USA International, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, I should have jumped in a race and did one, but it was fun. I did enjoy it. Trying to think of any other highlights. Probably just that 3-way finish for 3rd place in the first V race I did. That was probably the highlight. That was good fun.
Did you notice anything with the tyre walls on the Skippies or anything like that yet?
Not really. I've hit the wall plenty of times practicing at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve or whatever it is. Nailed it. So, I haven't burst any tyres, no sidewalls exploded on me, or haven't got any punctures or anything like that. So, not yet. But yeah, I haven't noticed any real differences. So, as long as I haven't made it worse, that's the main thing, I guess.
Yep. I haven't been to Spa or Red Bull Ring to check out the off tracks yet, but
no, neither.
Be interested to have a crack at that eventually. But yeah, look, that I didn't even get a chance to do mud skipping once again. I was going to do that, and then all of a sudden, it was I didn't own the track. It was at that day, and I was then just jumped back in the V. So it's a shame. I did a few laps in Bristol today, actually on dirt, just trying to get some footage for something, and exactly what you're saying. You all of a sudden you go on right, and then all of a sudden you get under control, and then all of a sudden you feel safe, and then it's all of a sudden it starts pulling left, and then it starts pulling. Yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah, enjoyable. So let's move on to the preview for Ozicar Skip Barber Season 8 coming up, as we've mentioned a couple of times, and also V Season 1. Just quickly, I saw this to IRA today. It's 39 people registered for Season 8 of the Skips, and about 36 at this stage for the V Season 1. So massive fields to start the season off, and some pretty cool deliveries floating around. Teams are expanding. I see White Knuckles got 2 full teams now, and the Noodle Squad has come out with Van Diemen Racing as well. So there's some banter going on, I can tell you that now, and there's a whole mad rush of new Aussie car drivers that are trying to learn the ropes pretty quickly. So that's why we had the training video up today on the YouTube channel from IRA. But look, what are you expecting to see from? Let's start with the Skippy Season 8. How many people can win this season?
Yeah, well, it's going to be highly contested, I think. That's for sure. I guess I don't know too much about many of the newcomers, so it'll be interesting to see sort of where that sits and where they sort of fall into things. Obviously, Alex John has a pretty good chance of going back to back. He's super consistent. I think I went back and had a look at his results, and I don't think he finished outside the top 5 in any race this season. So when you're doing that in Ozicar, that's definitely going to help, and especially this season where you're getting that little bit extra for finishing inside the top 5, the way the points are structured. So he's definitely going to be up there. I really think his teammate Alex McKellar is a bit filthy about last season. I think he really wants to get to the top of the steps, so I definitely think he's a good chance. The usual comers, Russell. If Russell can keep a season together consistently and not have some of those Milo moments, we'll call them, I think he's a good chance. And then we got to shout out Chastity. He's always there or thereabouts. He just wants that race win. So maybe this is the season we see a Chastity race win.
The floodgates will open then, I reckon.
Yeah,
if that happens.
I agree.
It just depends. It's going to be a hard one for him because it's not like this season there's a whole heap of, I guess they're Grand Prix tracks, so it'll be interesting. If it was a whole heap of tracks he knew for, like, obviously Oran Park he's done a lot of, so when we got to there he was definitely a good chance. So yeah. I think McKellar's a pretty big shot. Snell obviously as well.
Oh yeah, of course. I didn't even mention Ben. Yeah, that's just how stacked this field is, isn't it?
It is. So look, at this stage, a top 20 is a great result for me personally.
Well,
top 15 is sort of that celebration mark. There's just no dreams of getting in the top 10, unfortunately. So
yeah, I was going to say, what would you like to get out of this season for yourself? Is that the goal? The top 20, sort of literally mid pack, I suppose, this season, with there being 39
I want to
drivers?
finish the season top 15 overall.
Yep.
That would be amazing. That's the goal. To get a top 10 result would be great, and I'm definitely eyeing off the Speedway as one chance to get that. Other than that, yeah, look, just have a better season than last season. I've just got to stop crashing it. And I haven't had a very good start to it because I haven't done any practice yet.
Yeah.
And that is probably my biggest weakness at the moment. So I think at this stage, we'll be top 15 overall. And just get one top 10 in there somewhere along the lines. What are you looking at?
Yeah. I think last season I sort of set a goal of getting top 10 and managed to end up finishing 7th. I don't feel like getting any further up is going to be any easier this season. That's for sure. So as much as I'd love to say, I really think I've got a good chance of getting top 5. Although I was top 7 last season, I feel like I was quite a way off top 5 still. And there were some good guys who had some bad results, and Ben missed some rounds. So obviously, he would have finished above me if he hadn't have missed rounds. So I think my goal will be top 10 again. If I can finish inside the top 10, I'll call that a pretty successful season. In terms of my own driving, I just want to try and... I had a really good season a couple of seasons ago where I just stopped making those silly mistakes. Whether it's a spin here on colds or... just getting involved in an incident that I really shouldn't have. Just if I could get rid of those, I feel like I could get a top 10 pretty well. I'd love to get back on the podium at some point. So as a little mini goal, somehow to get back on the podium somehow would be nice. It's going to take a little bit of luck, that's for sure. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it just off of raw speed or talent. I'm definitely going to need a little bit of luck. But that would be like if I can get a podium this season, something's gone really well. So yeah, top 10 overall would be nice. I'd love to pull off a podium somehow. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Maybe get back on the podium in the team's championship for Nathan and I after a couple of seasons off the podium. Would be a nice goal as well.
Yeah, definitely. I just realised I've got another ace up my sleeve. I'm battling out for the road to 2K.
True.
So look, top 5 in that would be unreal. Potentially aiming for a 3rd in that would be the goal, but I'd have to be super consistent, and that's what I want to be. So I need to start putting the laps in, and then putting the laps in again, and then putting more laps in. But yeah, that's what I'm sort of eyeing off at the moment. But let's move on to V's. I guess Cameron Dance is the big standout there. He's driven these things before. Who else can you see that's going to pop their noses out in the V's?
Yeah, so again, a pretty stacked field, with some quick drivers. A few names that I haven't
Lot of
seen before.
lot of names I haven't seen before. Obviously, Alex John's going to be up there as well.
Yeah, I'm sure both
The likes of
Alexes.
people like people like Sean Doyle, Jeremy Bush. Did I see Dennis Hancock as well? Those ones that sort of sat just outside the around the 10 mark in the skips.
Yep.
This is going to be a chance for them to really shine because they can hold that draft a lot better in this.
Yeah.
So potentially someone like that could start getting a few podiums if they just keep their noses clean.
Yeah. One I forgot to
and
mention
hang
from
around.
the Skippies, who's also in the V's, is Sean McKenzie. I know he's quite a decent Skippy driver. He is definitely up there in speed, and I've had some good races with him in officials before. Funnily enough, he gave me a bit of a rear end in one of the V races in officials during the weekend, and I had a bit of laugh about it over the comms, saying, make sure you don't bring that stuff to Ozicar, Sean, as a bit of a joke. And he actually messaged me on Discord later that day, or just afterwards, saying, hey, he couldn't actually have a chat because he has a chat ban in game. But he was saying, we're having a little chat, and he was saying that he's almost saved up enough money to actually buy one of these in real life to run in real life. So shout out to him for, first of all, making that commitment. That's really cool. But maybe he's going to have some speed, maybe some inside knowledge from some people that he knows. So maybe we might see Sean McKenzie up there. I know he listens to the podcast. So shout out to him, and also shout out to hopefully being able to get out and do some real racing in a V, which will be pretty cool.
Yes, definitely will be. Yeah. So look, I think it's such an open field, just with that extra draft help from all the cars. It's going to be staying clean and not stuffing up that first lap in the V's is the important thing. So good luck to everyone involved.
I'm really looking forward to having some locked on racing cars to support where, one, they're not fighting me.
Yeah, exactly.
And two, I don't have the pressure of being involved in the race. I'm looking forward to being able to sit back and watch the broadcast and cheer some of you guys on. So good luck.
That's it. We have 3 teams lined up, so looking out to see how they go. And the rookie team in Cal and Matthew, good luck, guys. I really hope you enjoy it more than anything else.
Absolutely.
But yeah, well, interested to see what the fruits of this locked on Black Sheep Racing brings with. So, like I said, Jeremy Bush, I mentioned him before. Very good chance of getting some good results this season in the V's. But let's move on to a few series of announcements that happened during the week. So SimSpeed has got together with Aussie Online Gaming to announce the Stock Car Racing Asia Pacific, or Scrap League, as they're calling it, which is the truck series that they're going to be heading around some oval tracks, and by the look of it, one little road track. Now, I got roped into this by one Tim Cornt because he's keen to drive it in the Chevy, and we're both getting on the Chevy. He promised me it was every second week, but I'm looking at this draw now, and it's definitely not every second week. It is a weekly Wednesday race starting on the 30th of June, so I don't know if I'll be able to commit to that just yet. But they are going to places like Charlotte, Atlanta Speedway, New Hampshire, Richmond. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park is the
I saw that.
track. Is the racetrack in there? Darlington, Daytona, all things like that. So it's a 10-week series, which will end up on the Wednesday the 3rd, or September 1st. Will be the last one. They're all round about the 80 lap mark, except for Richmond, which goes out to 115, and Michigan, which is only 65. So keep an eye out for that one if you're keen. They're limiting it to 40 entries. I don't know what they're at the moment, but yeah, go check them out on Facebook, Australian Online Gaming. They'll have a link there for you to get into. Are you interested in seeing some locked on racing run around in that, Brady?
I am always interested in seeing some locked on cars run around, Pete. You know that.
I've been promising to go on the truck soon. We just got to work some stuff out with the podcast. So if I can work it out, I will try and commit to racing in these ones. It's a little bit later start, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah,
but
we're trying to get an extra day or two added to the week each week, just so we can actually do some racing.
Would be so helpful. So also Trax announced this week, and Trax Trax Enduro 1, which is the endurance one-off series that he's put up.
Well,
with the
more so than announced, it was run and completed.
Oh, it was too. Yes, sorry, it was run and complete. So we'll go through the results, I guess, in the results section. But it happened, announced, and everyone joined in and went for it. So that was the one I was testing. So I have to find. You might have to get the results while I'm talking about a few other things. But what you were testing was Trax FV3 Championship, which is a championship that comes up 60 entries, 15-minute, 3 different short circuits, each 15-minute race. They're coming up with, you get to battle your rivals, which I think you beat your rival in the end or not?
No. So in the little test that we did, I came
second. Down to points, didn't it?
Yeah, it came down to off tracks, I think.
Incidents, yeah.
Which meant he beat me, but he came first overall and I came second overall. So we were although he beat me in the rivals battle, we were both on the podium, which was pretty cool.
Excellent. So if you are interested in battling for Bitcoin, go over and check that one out. You can definitely try and win some money. And look, the Formula Vee, as we talked about, is a really good one to run around in. A good, nice, fair racing. So yeah, definitely check that out. But that's the most for the results. The announcements, the news, updates. We are hopefully getting Jamie back on the podcast soon to talk about a bit of his results as well over there. But we'll hopefully next week or the week after we'll start hearing about that as well. So let's move into the results part of the podcast. Not like I said before, but this is the actual results part of the podcast. We have had a massive enduro race happen in the last couple of days. In fact, on Saturday, it was, Braden, or Sunday? I can't remember.
It was on Saturday?
Saturday. Apex Hunters United, anyway, got together to run the Silverstone circuit for 4 long hours, and it came down to 2.35 seconds. It was the winning move was made on the last lap by Jared Filsell over Shane Van Gisbergen. So very, very good finish to that race. So that's Lobs Esport, or LOBS Esport, number 94. Jared Filsell and one famous Brody Kostecki joined together to win that race over Nick Foster and Shane Van Gisbergen. Pursuit Sim Racing dropped into third, which was Job Stewart and Blake Purdy. So congratulations. That's in the LMP2 class.
And I tell you what, that final sort of 30 minutes between Jared and Shane, just going at it in between traffic, in and out of traffic, all the way to the finish line. It was an absolutely mega race. It was so cool to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And you've almost felt like Shane had enough skill to hold on, but I don't know whether his tyres just gave way or he actually, it was interesting listening to him on the interview afterwards. He just sounded like he'd had a blast.
Yeah.
And but he was sitting there talking about how he just made a mistake, and that he kept on making mistakes going through traffic, picked the wrong way, and that's what cost him the race in the end. But I thought when Phil got past him, when Jared got past him, I thought he was going to have to battle a bit harder to keep him behind him, but put out that 2-second gap in the last lap, which,
And
unfortunately...
How cool for people to be able to, go in this and say they're racing people like Jared Filsell and Brody Kostecki and, Shane Van Gisbergen. Like, well, what a thrill to be out on track with that kind of caliber of driver. And just, what a great success. I'm extremely jealous we didn't have a locked-on car in there to go for. So if there's anybody out there that's got the skill to go head-to-head with these guys or wants to put their hat in the ring, it's definitely something we'd want to maybe think about getting involved in, because
definitely.
It's looks like a really cool series.
Yes, it is. So that takes us to the GTE class. Drop Bear Motorsports, which we're going to talk about in a second, further results in a sec. Corey McFarlane and Daniel Yeaman took that out pretty convincingly. over Logitech G Altus Esports, which was James Scott and Andrew Cowell. So well done there. And United Sim Sports GTE got third for Kyle George, Nick Cummings, and Stuart Vaughan. So well done on the podium finishes there. But that's a great effort by Drop Bear Motorsports, to be honest. Really done well, Corey and Daniel there. Did you catch any of the lower end in that tier at all?
Not too much. I only really saw the last sort of 30 minutes of the race live, and then I sort of just flicked back through bits and pieces afterwards. I was sort of in between doing things.
From my understanding, I think that was a fairly big comeback, especially I think it was Altus, might have been, had to use a fast repair early on, or one of the GTE cars anyway had a big incident early on, had to use fast repair.
Did they have fast repairs? I don't think they would have in an OSR.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I remember Shane was talking about when they had to use it in their car as well, but they definitely had the one to use over the 4 hours, which was
fair enough.
Handy for some. Yeah, so then the GT3 class was pretty comprehensively taken out by Team FA Alonso Kart Australia. The full lap ahead of their competitors, Jackson Harlow and Jake Burton. Well done, beating Drop Bear Motorsports, coming in second there with Kobe Williams and Tom Wilkinson. And third was Reese Gukul and Louis Gallen. In R1 Sim Sports.
Shout out to
so they were
Jackson Susan Harlow as well, former Ozicar TCR champion.
Yeah,
really good driver. We good person to come and talk about sim racing and real world motor racing as well at some point. Hopefully, love to get him on the podcast.
Definitely. We are hopefully making moves to get some of these people onto the podcast just to talk about the races and results and stuff like that. I know we're trying to reach out to people like Daniel and get them on. And we've also got Carl working on the scenes with OSR to try and get some bigger names on there as well. So looking forward to bringing you more comprehensive coverage of the next one, because, these are really, really good. They seem to be really well run and really good series so far. So congratulations on everyone involved in getting that one up and running. However, let's move on to ANZCAR, which you'll have to wait till next week to hear about the what happened in the trucks the other night, which was amazing. But here's Carl to talk about the week that was in ANZCAR.
Hello everybody and welcome to the ANZCAR recap here on Locked On iRacing. I'm Carl Withy and I'm going to go through some of the results from this past week. The Truck Series came from Chicagoland for round 5 of Season 2. Jaden Russell took pole position for the race with Jason Martin starting alongside him. The race took a little while to start going, with a few cautions falling early in the session. However, from lap 33 onwards we saw green flag running with a cycle of green flag pit stops, which saw Josh Micklemore take the lead from Ryan Jones. After the cycle of pit stops happened, Micklemore would hold on to the lead for the remaining 40 laps to bring home the checkered flag. Ryan Jones finishing in second, with Matty Raymond finishing third, Dave Douglas in fourth, Ruben Phelps in 5th. The championship would stay with Foster in the lead, Hettersheed in second. Micklemore would move up into 3rd position, 19 points behind the leader. Daniel Hettersheed just 8 points behind. 29 points down is now Matty Raymond in 4th. 5th place is Nathan Clark, 32 points off the lead. Jason Martin is 6th, 34 off the lead. James Robbie James Robbie is 7th, 43 off the lead. Christopher Finley is 8th, 45 off the lead. Dwayne Priest 9th, 67 off the lead, with Hamish Cleveland in 10th, 72 points off the lead. On Wednesday night, we would head to Texas Motor Speedway for the Xfinity Series for the ANZCAR Thunder. Chicagoland race winner Brenton Hobson would take pole position from Hamish Gallagher to lead off from the race. Lap 10 would see the night's first caution. Only the very back running cars would take the chance to top up with fuel as drivers conserved their tyre sets. Lap 14 would see a second caution due to a blown engine from an accidental shift from Mirko Dordenac. Lap 20 would see the race last caution-free, with a mix of drivers coming in to grab tyre and fuel. From here, it was 95 laps of green flag running, with one green flag stop needed to get home. Hamish Gallagher looked to be set to run away with this, but a penalty on pit road would take him out of contention for the win. Most drivers would split the last green flag into a single stop, however a few would try a double stopper. The highest finishing of those was Ryan Jones, managing a 4th place on the 2-stop strategy. But it was Brenton Hobson taking the win, his 2nd of the Xfinity series for the Thunder. Ruben Phelps managed to come home 2nd, with Luke Traherne in 3rd, Ryan Jones in 4th, Jaden Russell in 5th. The championship would see Hamish Gallagher still in the lead, with Ruben Phelps in 2nd, 17 points behind. Brenton West moving up to 3rd, 30 points off the leader. Norman Clark in 4th, 40 points down. Troy Davidson 5th, 53 points off the leader. Kay Donnelly in 6th, 58 points down. Dave Douglas in 7th, with Matt Hunter 59 points off the leader. Christopher Finley in 9th, 62 points down. And Josh Micklemore 65 points off the leader. Being an off week for the Cup Series, we did not have a race, but we will be back at the Knoxville Super Speedway for the Cup Series this week. We hope you can join us there on FGM eCast, your e-place for pace. And of course, we thank Locked On iRacing for continuing to bring great coverage to the Australian iRacing scene. Thank you.
And thanks for that, Carl. ANZCAR doing great as always. Definitely go check them out on FGM eCast, which I think we've got someone from that coming up soon in the interviews podcast as well. So check all it out. It is going really well over there. If you're interested, definitely go check up ANZCAR on Facebook. You can join in the races there. The Weekend Warriors was really something special as well. So let's move on to a new series. We haven't covered it yet, but this is obviously we're getting into the trucks with the Aussie Online Gamers, but they've just finished their Porsche Cup Series, which the new season, we have got a Locked On Racing car in, I believe, with new recruit John McAvoy heading into the amateur section of their Porsche Cup Series. So looking forward to watching that a little bit more closely this season. But last season wrapped up with Dylan Burse, number 68 in the Pro Series. For Vendaval Sim Racing, was the pro champion for season 3. He got 2 overall wins, Motegi and Nürburgring. He got 3 overall race wins. Well done for that. Championship points of 2,037. Matt Dunphy was the amateur privateer 505 car. He was the amateur champion for season 3, so he had 4 class round wins and 6 class race wins as well. So very well done there. To Matt, Drop Bear Motorsport, who we were talking about before, Daniel and Corey teaming up there to take out the team's championship in the Porsche Cup. Together they got 3 round wins and 1 race win. So well done there. And Corey himself, McFarlane, got the Pro-Am and overall champion. So 1 overall round win, 3 class wins, 1 overall race win, and 4 class race wins as well. So congratulations to Corey and everyone over there at Australian Online Gaming for what they put on this season. Now, heading from that into the Pro Truck Showdown, we have Justin Howe to run us through exactly what happened there, and we will come back to you in a sec. So take it away, Justin. And welcome, Justin Howe, to the podcast yet again. Pro Truck Showdown, run and won. Where were we tonight?
Round 3 was at Bark River, the new dirt track on iRacing.
I did see the name Bark River come up, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that before. So it's a new one. How'd it go?
Sensational night of racing, as usual, with the Pro Truck Showdown.
Yep.
Proudly brought to you by Hot Toddy's Heating Installs and the Coffee Mugs Commander. And also supported by you guys, which muchly appreciated. Race 1, qualifying. We had Zach Blanche, Cooper Webster, and Brenton Hobson were the top 3.
Jesus, that's some names.
Yeah. Then we had Cam Dance jump in. He was in 4th place. Ryan Jones was in the top 5.
Wow.
Then he's
good for 1 lap. That young Ryan Jones. That's all he's good for.
He had a bit of a rough run in 21st in the first race, I think. So
oh no.
Yeah, had a tough run. But
how did that first race end up?
The first race was just dirt road is just insanely busy. You just don't stop working the wheel.
Yep.
We had a good race with Zach Blanche and Brenton Hobson out the front. Only 2 tenths in the finish on that one. So first was Zach Blanche. Brenton Hobson come home in second. Cooper Webster in third. Cam Dance come home fourth. Myself come home in fifth. Jordan Caruso, he come home in sixth. Then we had Hamish Kelsey, Tommy Heyman, Greg Favell, and Hayden Veld were the top 10. Some great racing in between there, all those guys. Even down to Dan Stevens at 17, in position 17, with some really close battles down there. Then we move on to our reverse grid, which is a reverse top 7. With Hamish Kelsey taking a tight one out there in this one, with Brenton Hobson coming home in second. Jordan Caruso come home in third. Then we had Zach Blanche, Tommy Heyman, the couple of dirt specialists there, and Cooper Webster and Jaden Russell. Then we move on to Cam Dance in 8th. 9th was Dan Stevens, and Harry Tompkins was in P10.
Nice work in that 10.
Yeah, great racing again. And race 3, the final, we had a massive run between Zach Blanche, who took the win, between Zach Blanche, Cam Dance, and Brenton Hobson. But then Zach Blanche just absolutely streeted the field, while Cam Dance, Brenton Hobson, and Cooper Webster were just dicing every single corner. There was a pass. It was amazing. It was awesome to watch. We had Dan Stevens come home in 5th place. 6th place was Hamish Kelsey. Dean Lacey, with the Liquid Molly team there of Dan Stevens, come home in 7th. Jordan Caruso come home in 8th. 9th was Glenn Postlethwaite for Synergy Sim Racing, and Gregory Fafel was the top 10 there.
Excellent. What a star-studded field. Well done. And how did you go on the night?
Well, had problems in the second race. My goggles decided they didn't want to play anymore.
No.
And then the boy actually come in and turned my light off on me. So the goggles decided, I can't see. You're not racing.
It's a shame.
Yeah, in the final, we missed the start because I was busy looking at the tune setup that I'd put up, which I'd made a mistake there, but we all had to run the same tune, so that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
great night of racing otherwise. And we're back to the black stuff for next week, so looking forward to that.
Excellent. Looking forward to finding out what that is next Tuesday, what track we're going to. Also, if you're interested in Pro Trucks Showdown, where can they find it, mate?
You can find it on Facebook, obviously at Pro Trucks Showdown. Also, there's a Discord link that'll be there under the website, so go and have a look. And also in the SimSpeed Discord as well, you'll be able to find some links as well if you remember the SimSpeed Discord.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that wrap up, Justin, and we'll probably talk to you next week. Have a good one, mate.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Justin. We look forward to hearing more about what happens in Pro Trucks next week. Really, really good fun series. Go check that on SimSpeed. Go check that out on SimSpeed TV Network, Esports Network, on Tuesday nights. Really, really good fun. Braden, you got a little bit to talk about for Max Bance before we start wrapping this thing up?
Yeah, just really quickly, complete and utter chaos would be the word to describe Max Bance. So for those of you who don't know, they took the IR01. Is that the one that the brand new Dallara that came out a season or so ago?
Yes. Yes.
Around a oval track at many, many, many kilometers per hour. And it was just complete and utter chaos. There was, I reckon, for the first 50 or 60 laps or something, I don't know, something insane. It was just like green flag, yellow flag, green flag, yellow flag, green flag, yellow flag. There was barely a time where there was more than 3 or 4 laps of green racing going on. It was literally the definition of a war of attrition, and that's exactly what Max Bance is supposed to be. So, it was good fun to watch. might have been a bit more fun to watch if there was a few less yellows. That would have been a little bit better. But I do believe that I heard Reese or Sperry or someone say that the next one is definitely not going to be an oval. So look forward to the next Max Bance in a few months' time.
Definitely. So we've got a couple more to just quickly touch on here before we wrap it up. OSR Season 34 results are in. Well done to all those who battled it out for the season in the development series over there. Hayden Smythe got overall champion over there with Nicholas Loveridge in second and Roderick Hollis in third. So well done to that top three, and look forward to seeing what happens in season 35 as we go forward again.
Over 152 different drivers throughout that series as well, which is insane.
It's ridiculous, and I'm watching a bit of the pre-qualifying at the moment for this season, and it's nuts how close it's V8 Scops on just a slightly lower level for those who aren't quite in V8 Scops level. It's just nuts. So well done to all those who put that on. OSR doing a great job, obviously, with Apex Hunters and the development series as well. V8 Veterans also wrapped up on the weekend. Season 8 is full, ready to go with 80 drivers, so there'll be two splits going on with that. So, but congratulations to Jamie McKnight, who sort of wrapped this up pretty well. Championship number 6 under his belt, which is an awesome effort. Stephen Varga, as we mentioned a couple of times, had some pace. He took the win over Gavin Cox, coming home in a close second, and Tim Nicol taking out his first podium in the Vet Series in the last race of the season. So well done to all those involved, and we look forward to seeing bigger and better stuff in Season 8 and all the EMU racing cars that are going to be trying to take that one over as well. But as promised, we said we'd go out and get Jamie Skeller to talk about Trax Enduro 1. Before we've done it, we've gone out and got him, so we're going to bring him in and have a bit of a chat to him now about Trax Enduro 1. So take it away, Jamie. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us tonight. Trax Enduro 1, run and done. How did it go, mate?
It was great. Look, it was nice to get our first public event on the board. It was a sellout 40-seat grid in the space of about 48 hours, in fact. So the reception was really positive. Look, it was almost elitist in the end. There was some really, really high-profile drivers participating. We had Nicholas Lorbish, who won it. He's a bit of an alien. What's his iRating? It's 6,000-7,000. We also had some superstars out of Asia join unexpectedly. Again, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 iRating, and so it was pretty intense. Nicholas, I think you pronounce it. Nicholas Lorbish won it. Which means he took home the $125 worth of Bitcoin in first place. He also got the additional $25 because he beat his rival on the day. But the feedback's been really good. Obviously, we only had prizing for the podium in terms of finishing places, but half the field won money by beating their rival, and it's been fantastic. People seem to really like the model. Look, I personally didn't do so well. I thought I'd race in it, provide the guys, a friendly voice in chat. I managed to not set a qualifying time at all and started basically at the back of grid. But out of 40 drivers, I still finished 23, so that's okay, right? That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's good. I'd be happy with that, to be honest. So great success. Now, we mentioned in the news you've got the Formula Vee one announced. How's that going?
So that's coming up this weekend in a few days. I don't know when this podcast episode will be out, probably tonight, I imagine, if it was anything like the last one. But yeah, we've got like 12 seats left in our Formula Vee event, so that's been selling out pretty fast as well. And this is another single night event, so we're actually doing Formula Vee, 3 tracks, so free car on iRacing, 3 of the free tracks on iRacing, and it'll all unfold within a 2-hour period on Saturday night Australia's time, late Saturday night Australia's time. We've actually catered this time a little bit further towards Europeans and the east coast of the US, so it'll be about 11 p.m. I think for a few of us in the country. But we're pretty excited about that, just because of, again, it being new content to the service and has a lot of people excited. But next month we're looking forward to getting into the full swing 4-week 4-race championship format, where it's not just a single night, and you'll be competing against your allocated rival according to a number of factors, including iRating comparison, lap time comparison in certain cars on certain laps, basically making sure that the person you are battling week to week and attempting to finish ahead of is as closely matched as possible. So look, the team's feeling pretty psyched. We're feeling positive. We've just been quite humbled by the response, really. So we think the next year is going to be really big and really fun.
I know you've been doing some testing behind the scenes, and obviously having the enduro run and be successful. What kind of things have you learnt through the little bit of testing and obviously running the first event?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. Thank fuck that we've been doing this testing, because there's been a whole bunch of teething issues. And look, so me and Rod's the sort of lead engineer on the project, building our UI. We've worked together across a few startups, and we are probably two of the most evangelical people you could meet when it comes to talking about and advocating for real user testing, getting potential customers, potential users into the nitty gritty and actually running them through and putting them through the paces and getting real feedback, and not just making assumptions and not leaving it all up to automation and looking at plain boring data, but literally getting feedback and having real people use the thing really. And it's been absolutely invaluable. So everything from race lengths through to the gaps we need to build in before certain hosted sessions on iRacing, to criteria about pricing and what makes sense for an enduro versus a 4-week series. And so, bringing the community into this process, I think has really helped us a lot. And it's made sure that so far we haven't had any embarrassing moments on the real nights, which I'm sure we will, because we're not perfect. But so far it's almost been flawless. It's been odd. The wife asked me, so how's it all gone so far? How have the actual nights gone? What's going on? Have there been any issues? I'm like, no, there hasn't. Which is a weird thing to say. It's maybe the first startup, so to speak, I've ever been involved in, where we've kicked off, and the official nights, the public nights, when people are looking at it critically and now getting involved practically from an outsider's perspective, have just gone, well, that was easy, thanks. And we're like, no worries, our pleasure.
Gotta love that. I really hate to cut you short, but we're already going way over. We've got lots of stuff coming up, but thank you so much, Jamie, for your time. Obviously, lead people to the website Trax.rivals to
Trax.racing.
Racing. I just looked at it in a second. Trax.racing to get on that one for sure. I'm having headset issues, everyone, so yeah, enjoy. So yeah, Jamie, anything else you want to just quickly talk about, or that's it?
No, look, that's it. Thanks for the check-in, guys. Appreciate the hello, and look, we'll stay in touch, and I'll let you know how things go into the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jamie. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for that, Jamie. You're an absolute legend. I look forward to seeing what happens in the V series that's coming up and all the other series that are going to be announced fairly soon. That is it. We've rushed through it at the end because we've got deadlines happening at this end. I'm really sorry for the bit of a rush stuff at the end, but we took time getting in tonight and we're recording late. But let's wrap this little puppy up. This weekend, we've got Daniel Gray on the podcast, so check out that interview. It's going to be really good fun. Hopefully, we haven't recorded it yet, but hopefully it will be good fun. Look, Braden, mate, what have you got lined up and where can people get you, mate?
Yeah, just Ozicar this week, so that's the main thing I'll be focusing on. So looking forward to doing that. Watching a few different locked-on cars go around in a couple of different series. Looks like I've got a bit of stuff to catch up on and watch, which is really good to see. But people can catch any streaming that I do. I might do some hunting, might do some racing. Either way, I'll be hunting something, whether it's apexes or some kind of animal on
you haven't
Call
seen
of the
an
Wild.
apex in a long time.
That is a good point. But you can find all that content over at twitch.tv/the1dwade. Shout out to anyone who dropped in. I had probably one of my best streams on the weekend. There was about 11 people hanging out, so that was pretty cool to see. So feel free to jump in and have a chat. And if you want to hear me probably, once again, crying or whinging or desperately upset about my disgraceful football team, feel free to come hit me up on Twitter at Braden Talks.
Definitely go do that. You can find me at Locked On Lads on Twitch, hopefully doing some day streams coming up, hopefully streaming the V's and the Skips officials and a bit of practice for Ozicar. Check us out on Locked On Lads on Facebook. And like I keep on saying, lockedonlads.com/Discord or in the show notes. Get into the Discord. We're almost at 200 people now. Extremely active, good fun, and always great support. So definitely go and do that. Like I mentioned before, Locked On Lads YT on YouTube. We're starting to get a little bit of content dropping up on there at the moment, and hopefully the podcast will start going up on there soon. Don't hold me to that, but that's the plan. Thank you for everyone who's been listening. Thank you to all those people who've been reviewing and subscribing. You are absolute legends. Thank you for all the feedback we're getting through all the different ways, through Facebook or through the Discord. That's really good and really helping us get along. Look forward to bringing some even bigger stuff to you in the future. Keep an eye out for that in the very near future. And thank you, everyone, and keep racing. See you next week. Bye.
Drive safe, drive fast.